Well, hi there folks, it's Matt Hayson here looking at this week's property market, and on-site auctions and open home inspections are back. Such a surreal experience turning up to our first open home on Saturday morning to see a group of people wanting to come in and inspect our property, but not complaining. Overall though, I'd have to say we saw a lukewarm response from the buyer pool to our open homes. We saw some properties which were attracting groups of 30 or 40, fantastic, but many properties were only attracting buyers in the single digits. Now, I came across some very interesting data from Domain during the week, which highlighted week on week the number of new properties coming onto the market, and they have exploded in the last couple of weeks, up over 50%. Also, a very interesting metric within this data is the number of properties across the greater Sydney market is also starting to swell, up around 10%. So that would suggest to us that the number of exchanges is not keeping up with the number of properties coming onto the market. So all of a sudden, supply and demand is now in favour of buyers. First time it's happened this year. So we have to ask the question, has the market peaked or is it starting to plateau? Let's look at some of the data and you can make up your own mind. Last weekend's auction clearance rate was sitting at 66.2% from 1,065 auctions that went under the hammer. That's around 11% higher than the corresponding week last year. So potentially the auction market is starting to normalise. Also during the week, the National Australia Bank Residential Property Survey was released. Now this is a very interesting survey as it interviews people within the industry about their view on the future of growth in property prices and also rental prices. And we've seen a very sharp decline here in New South Wales, going down to 57 points from a high at 71 points. Then we have economists really challenging the narrative from the RBA that they aren't going to lift interest rates until 2024. However, with inflation going up around the globe, economists believe that the RBA is going to have to pull the trigger well before that 2024 target. We can see on this graph here that the cash rate for the futures is factoring in an interest rate increase around April next year, but certainly ratcheting up through to 2023. So, boiling all of this down, what are we seeing? Well, if you're a buyer who has finance and is ready to act, this is the best opportunity to secure a property we've seen in the last 12 months, maybe even in the last 18 months. We've got a great supply property coming onto the market and also a diluted buyer pool. But it's important to note, many of the properties that are coming onto the market at the present time are blue chip assets. And we all know, long term, they are wonderful investments. So, I would not hesitate to take advantage of this good opportunity which is opening up to secure a property before Christmas. Therefore, that leads us into this weekend where we've got some great properties open for inspections. We've got some wonderful properties that we're looking forward to meet you, and I'm happy to say at an open home inspection. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week.